Hey, I'm on the road headed back into town. I just got through looking at a pretty large hardwood tract in North Louisiana that some people want to list and sell. I knew the tract because I'd looked at it a couple of years ago for them, and they finally, have kind of gotten to the place they're ready to sell it. They've had the timber cut on it, and I knew that before I went out there. And when I got out there to look at it, it kind of my suspicions were kind of confirmed. So many times when these hardwood tracts get cut, people are told that they're going to have a select cut done, which means that the timber is going to be selected to cut, not a clear cut. And a lot of times that goes bad, and for whatever reason, but it does. And this tract was like that. Whoever cut it definitely select cut it. They selected all of the best stuff and cut it. And what's left standing, there's a lot of timber left standing, a lot of big timber, but when you look real closely at what's left, it's a lot of non-desirable species. It's just not a good stand of timber left for the future. 20, 30 years from now, there still won't be anything, won't be a whole lot of good timber on this track, and that's unfortunate. I see this a lot in this part of the country, and I hate it. Boy, I hate it when tracks get cut like this, and whether it's by accident or by default, or I don't know. I'm not putting casting aspersions on anyone's motives or anything in this discussion. It's just stating the facts that hardwood tracts need to be cut a certain way. In my opinion, I'm not a forester, but I got a bunch of foresters that work for me. I'm around them all the time, deal with them all the time. I hire them, I consult them all the time. So I have a pretty good idea of how they're going to see something before I even call them and talk to them about it. And this tract was definitely, in my opinion, high graded, meaning they took the high grade stuff out and left all the undesirables, and the stand is not going to grow back well. In my opinion, again, it's my opinion for what it's worth, a tract like this should have been clear cut. Clear cutting a hardwood tract is so much better than going in there and high grading it, because then everything gets a chance to regenerate naturally. The strong, good trees will dominate and take over, and they'll be the ones to survive and thrive, and that's what you want. But when you cut out all the good stuff and you create an overstory of big, mature, undesirable timber, now the inferior trees have become the dominant trees on a tract, and it just makes it tough for that tract to really ever develop and do anything else anytime in the next foreseeable future. So it'll take a couple of generations, in my opinion, for this tract to ever be good again for a timber tract. So if you have hardwood timber cut, my suggestion is don't listen to how I would do it. Go hire a good forester, somebody that you have got a good opinion of, or somebody that you've got good recommendations. Hire a good, licensed, certified, graduate forester, and tell them what you want, and listen to what they say, and let them manage the harvest of that timber. They're going to charge you 6, 7, 8, 10, 12% of the harvest of what's cut. But I promise you it's worth it. I'm in this business. We cut timber all the time on lots of land. I have foresters at my disposal. I can pick up the phone and call any number of them to get good advice. I know more than the average bear about this, and yet every time we put a saw in a tract ourselves, I personally hire a forester and pay them what they need to be paid to manage and oversee that, for a couple of reasons. The tract will be cut the way I want it cut, or the way the landowner wants it cut. It'll be properly managed. Number two, you'll probably get your money back in the good that they'll do in overseeing it. They're going to charge you a commission to oversee this project and get it done a certain way, but just the fact that they're on site quite a bit, that timber will get merchandised properly. Not every tree is equal. A lot of you know this, so I apologize if I'm being elementary. But just because they cut a tree down, put it on a truck, they're not all the same. You need somebody on that loader who knows what they're doing to merchandise those trees properly, so that the right cut goes in the right stack, so that it gets put on the right truck and sent to the right mill. And just the merchandising trees properly will make you more than enough money, most likely, to cover the cost of the forester. So a good forester will typically pay for themselves just in making sure your timber gets merchandised properly. The guys driving the trucks, a lot of the guys on the loaders are all good people, hard working, but they're not quite as invested in that deal as you are and your forester. So get somebody that knows what they're doing to help you do this, is my point. So that you put as much money in your pocket as you can. Your track is left in as good a shape as possible when it's all done. It's going to be ugly no matter what when it's freshly cut, but how it regenerates, how the remaining timber is able to grow and thrive and compete for dominance, that's critical. So yeah, put some money in your pocket, but also leave something for the next generation or the next group or your family, whoever is going to own that track after you. That is just good stewardship, and in my opinion, it's just the right way to live. So anyway, wasn't getting on my soapbox. I know none of you were guilty of this, but I hated seeing a several 100-acre beautiful bottomland hardwood tract, high graded, and now there's nothing but big elm and hackberry and giant willow oak and just junk out there now in the dominant position on this track. It's just not going to be pretty in the years to come. So anyway, we run into it a lot. Hope you'll take the information that I gave you. Just, consider it when you cut timber. If you're not doing this all the time and you don't consider yourself an expert, hire one. I promise you, if you get the right one, and they're easy to get the right one, they're going to typically more than pay for themselves, and definitely leave your track better, and definitely probably put more money in your pocket. So anyway, there you go. Hope y'all have a good day. Bye.